Did you start your timer too? All right, so again, the comparison is Aquatherm's on the ground, equipment's here, field fab scenario. Compared to steel on the ground, welding machines. So everything's already set up. Took 10, 15 minutes to set this, not even 15, 8 or 10 minutes to set this up. I'm not sure what it'd take to set up steel, but we'll consider the setup's already done. We're gonna build the spool. So I'm gonna pick up my pipe, set it in my machines. This isn't quite 19 feet. I just got 3 pieces of pipe off the rack. But you'll see that it wouldn't take me any more time if it was 18 feet or 19 feet. I'll just say this. You guys, people that are new to Aquatherm, they're not gonna have a clue what I'm doing. So I'm gonna be explaining, a little bit. I'm not gonna try to teach them butt fusion. It's too much. But I'm going to use the 4-jaw Acrobat 150 and plant the pipe in. I'm not going to worry about my paint lines. I could if it was a big deal, but it doesn't make a hell of a beans difference in the structural integrity of the weld. Since you guys already know what's happening to a paint line. I'm going to go ahead, since I'm fabbing this and I've planned every fusion, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up, at least get it tightened up as well. We'll teach our installers, make sure you plan every fusion you're going to do in a day's time before you start today. And I think it's kind of important. Notice what I'm wearing in my hands. There's no black all over me. And I'm 58 years old, about 50. Just saying. All right. So I've got my pipe clamped in. What I'm going to do now is just real quick. I'm going to bring the jaws together. Check my high and low. That means it's one side higher or lower too much. That looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is something called facing. I've already you know what? I pre-cleaned the pipe here. We're doing 91% isopropyl alcohol or higher. We do have some stipulations during the pandemic if you can't find it. If you run into that, we'll explain what to do. This is a facer. It's pretty much analogous to beveling and your pipe, fitting up your pipe. That's kind of what this is going to do. Is bring these pipes together. It's going to be perfectly parallel pipe faces when I'm done. Oh, I guess I should turn it on. It's going to get loud. Once I get 2 full ribbons on each side of the facer coming off, then I know that my pill's been good and I've got perfectly parallel smooth faces. And I'll pull this together just to show you. Let's close it back up. And you can see there's no gap now. High-low still looks good. I'm going to go ahead and put my iron in. I've checked the temperature for butt fusion. 410 plus or minus 18. I'm going to do this at what's called fusion pressure. This is visual. Since I'm planning my work, I'm going to make sure that I can keep my eye on that so that nobody messes with it. While I'm waiting on that to beat up, I'll go ahead and do the same thing here. Ribbons off, and we'll go ahead and close this up again just to make sure. My pipe is clean because it took it down to virgin material. Unless I get it dirty again, doesn't have to be cleaned again. That looks pretty dang good. All right. That bead up looks good. Look down at the bottom here. Everything's looking good there. So I'm gonna drop my pressure and start my timer. While that's going, again, I've got it where I can keep my eye on it. I'm gonna go ahead and start my bead up here. What we're doing is looking for a 1 millimeter bead for this particular size pipe, continuously all the way around. So, if I had another machine, I'd be setting it up and going. I don't have one set up because I don't want to show off. I've got a minute left there. And the beads are starting to bead up here. I think I've got time, so I'm going to go ahead and put my Hornet. We're going to get just at least 7 pipe. Not too tight, but stable enough where it doesn't fall. 30 seconds roughly there. That looks good, so I'm going to decrease my pressure to drag. Pressure drop. Oh well, I didn't do this, so. Yeah, I did. There it is. I knew I'd planned my fusions. So now that's in heat soak. This one is about to be pulled out. I guess it'd be good if I put it open instead of closed. I'm keeping my eye on it. Make sure there's nothing in there until it closes. Put my iron down. Turn my timer off. Now, in this particular environment, after 7 minutes, I can remove it, the jaws off of this, and pressure test after 9. So, I've got a minute left here. And I'm going to not do anything for a minute because I want to go into explain what this machine does and all that kind of stuff. Any questions so far? Eric, you don't have any questions?
I have no questions.
You remember what the comparison, what was it for steel pipe multiplier 1 to build this?
Steel pipe was
About
15.8 hours.
About 15 and a half hours.
How many welds was that though?
2 welds, 1 6-inch and 1 weld.
So you're actually you're gonna do 3 more joints than what we would have in the steel example.
Yep. Not calling the wind yet until we see the finished product, but one thing to note seriously, guys, I'm not dirty. I'm not breathing in all that smoke and dust.
I'm not.
And I don't have somebody helping me, nor do I need a forklift or anything like that to move this around. So that's done. So now, put down, hit open, tap it, keeping my eye on it, so it's contact, and closed. Again, the painted stripes have no indication of structural integrity. You can line them up or you don't have to. Basically aesthetics. So, that joint can be taken out of the Acrobat in 7 minutes, pressure tested, and 9 minutes. Now this, pipe fitters will typically use something like a center punch or top dead center tool. We just, AKA flange wizard. I'm gonna do this here. This is again a Hornet. It's designed to help do outlets. I'm gonna loosen this again though. Put this down. Gently. Bring it over. Right there. Glass check. That's pretty dang good right there. First thing I'm going to do is drill a hole. Nifty cordless drill. I always keep extra batteries in case this runs out. This ran out right in the middle of the demo before. My battery's going dead. I'm almost there, so I'm just gonna make it with it.
You're losing time.
Say again?
You're losing time.
That's okay. That's all right. I think it's even better that I did lose some time. This bit made by Aquatherm is designed to pull that plug out and the majority of the shavings as well. Do you have to still flush your system? Of course, but most of it's going to come out with this bigger drill bit made by Aquatherm. Now I'll take the drill bit attachment out. Take a little deburring tool. This doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to get the long pieces that are hanging down filled back, or cut off, I should say. Good. Take the next piece that goes into the Hornet. This is the fitting adapter. Snaps in. I'll explain how that works momentarily here. This is my fitting. What I'm going to do is take my alcohol wipe, clean my fitting. I always want everything pristine, clean, no contaminants, and no water. This is designed, this rubber diaphragm, as I tighten, will expand and hold the fitting once I've tightened it up. Now, right now I'm just going to make sure I'm lined up properly. That's good enough for me. Iron. Outlets. It's made by McElroy, 2-inch iron with fusion outlet fittings, 500 degrees plus or minus 18. I've already checked it. We're within the range. There's no time here. This is visual. I'm looking, once we make full contact, go down through the pipe wall there, and this comes down onto the fusion head, I'm going to be looking for a complete bead around the fitting and a complete ring on the pipe. Let the heat do the work. Takes a minute or so, but you can start seeing a bead should be over there. It'll start walking around. Keeping some slight pressure, not too much. Let the heat do the work. See the ring coming around. Beads coming around on the fitting. What's important is that they're just continuously all the way around. Pipe is ready. We still have a tad bit more on the fitting. Very small, but small still works. We're good to go. Loose. There we go. 2-inch branch line outlets, 2-inch outlet, so I'm gonna let this cool the same as I would a 2-inch socket fusion, 6 minutes, before I can do anything else with it. While that's cooling, it's been 7 minutes here. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to do my 90. If this was just a real, say 10 foot long, and I could just take this, throw it underneath if I needed to, before I continued moving my machine out. Give it the support it needs. Slide this on out. Here.
All right, so you've done 2 welds, 6-inch, and you've put your socket in 2-inch, and it's only 16 minutes and 31 seconds so far.
Yeah, I kept it in the plastic like we teach so it stays clean. I'm still going to clean it with alcohol, but it sure makes it less clean. Pretty good. I'm getting better at this. This fusion method is very safe, but if you're not careful with these fusion machines, 6 men died last month. No, not really, but these will crush your hands if you don't follow the safety rules. You want to make sure you're trained by someone, trainer for Aquatherm or the tool manufacturer. So, let's go ahead and do our facing again. See what I'm being real careful off the record, guys? Those cables will mess you up. I'm just telling you, so watch it. All right, turn the machine on. So, one thing I want mention is so far the 6-inch butt welds have been for 17/6 pipe. That's an indication of the wall thickness. This fitting is an SDR11, a little bit thicker wall. So I've changed some of my fusion parameters, and I have already set it for 241 over here. It's a little bit longer heat soak. I touched the fitting with a greasy hand, so just on the safe side, clean it up again. Just want to make sure it's clean and dry. Same process now. 410-degree iron. Using pressure until I see heat going all the way around. And this one, I would call my girlfriend Susie. What's for dinner tonight?
You're Susie, huh?
I'll be home right. Just give me a minute, honey. I'll be right home.
Charlotte.
Charlotte was last night. All right. I don't know if you can see. Let me get a light for you there so maybe the camera can pick it up better. If you can see the little beads starting to show there. Little shiny bead. That's what you want to see all the way around. It's starting to show a little bit here. It's not quite as evident because it's just a solid color, but
Well, we can see it. It's a good camera.
the most important thing is that it's continuous all the way around. Little bead there. I'm seeing it there. I think we're good with the bead up, so we're going to say bead up is complete. drop my pressure down. Neutral. And start my timer. So,
The
2 minutes.
drag pressure remained the same.
Just say it.
The drag pressure there, you didn't have to reset that.
No. This drag, I already had it, knew what it was, and I quickly just set it. If I didn't, I would check it and take me maybe 10 extra seconds to check it. Now, I'm done with everything except for pulling an iron. I've got 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. What's the timer say? Where are we at so far?
20 minutes, 50 seconds.
If you added, so say 21 minutes plus 3, 24 minutes. I'm done. And then some people will argue, well, wait a minute, that's got to do a cool down, which is about 11 minutes. I have to check the book. Okay, well, if it's going to take 11 minutes to cool down, give me another machine. I'll do some more fusing. You know, if you're going to charge me for that time, give me the machine. I'll keep going. I'll do another outlet. I'll put a flange adapter on the end of that piece. So that does, you know, as long, if you want to keep adding time, I'm going to keep fusing. Another thing I could do is just start cleaning up, so that within the time frame that we call quits that we're done, not only did I do the work, but I've also cleaned up. I will go ahead and take our spider loose. Our hornet. You want to see that up close.
Again, the Hornet is for 2-inch
And down.
And down.
That is a Hornet XL.
Yeah.
This is for outlets up to 6 inch.
Up to 6 inch.
Yeah. That will only do up to 2 inch. Got about 35 seconds left to go, and I'll pull that iron. There is one last thing I'm going to ask you gentlemen to do once I pull that iron. I'm going to take this out of the jaws. Now this has to cool. I wouldn't normally take it out of the machine, but I'm not going to add any more time because if you guys want to add time for the cooling time, then I'm going to say give me another machine. I'm going to fuse some more.
23 minutes.
23 minutes. So what I am going to do is just the last demonstration on the productivity of Aquatherm. If this was steel pipe, how would you pick this piece up? What would you do to pick this piece up? By hand?
Couple guys.
A couple of guys, strong ones, because it's almost 400 pounds. Or a forklift, more likely, because the rule contractors are getting pretty stiff about what you can pick up. Usually 75 pounds or less. So if you guys would just pick this up for me, I'll pick up this in here. If you'll grab that in, let me come around this way.
I would be happy to.
Well, thank you, Eric. And we'll just lay it down there beside that other one on the floor.
You couldn't do that yourself?
I could have, but I didn't want to show off.
Yes.
Yeah. Done.
All right, and you are? And where are we?
We're at Aquatherm here in Linden, Utah, and I'm the corporate trainer here, Tony. My name is Tony.
All right.
Come see us.